Now I grew up down an old dirt road in a town you wouldn't know.
Okay, hey, welcome back everybody. It's Alpha Blade Reviews. This is Joey from Louisiana. I just recently did a knife video about this time yesterday out in the woods on one of my spots where I hunt, and on the ESEE. And I know this is an old knife and it's nothing new, but I had mentioned in the video that I would like to compare it to the black SRK, the new 3V SRK from Cold Steel. And then I got to thinking and I was like, well, the Cold Steel has a saber grind and it has a pretty low saber grind. So it's probably going to baton a whole lot better because it's got a low, very low, thick saber grind. But you're comparing apples to oranges sort of, because you have 1095 full flat grind, see, instead of the... So I meant to grab my SE4 and I'm going to compare 3V, but I meant to grab my SE4 to do a comparison because the Master Hunter is actually full flat ground too. Cold Steel Master Hunter. So what you're getting is 3V full flat ground, okay, there, versus 1095 full flat ground. Now, we're not going to do, this is a comparison of what they look like. We're not going to do, you notice there's no lanyard here. It's because this knife is not meant to do the jobs that this knife does for me. For what I like to use a knife this size for, which would be chopping or really hard thrashing through some limbs and stuff. This is more of a skinner and a bushcraft knife for me. But today we're going to compare. I don't have any paper on me, so forgive me for it. But just trust me that both of these have light use on them. They've been stropped, but they have light use. I did not do anything to this knife after using it yesterday, except wipe it down. I didn't strop it. But this one's been used since too, and all I did was wipe it down. I did not strop it. And they're both sharpened with the Spyderco Sharp Maker Model 204. Nothing fancy. You know, I would put a 20-degree edge on each one. So let's find a limb, and we'll start off with the SE6. Just kind of like the one we did yesterday. Try to find one that's not just totally dead. I want to find one that's pretty darn robust. Okay, well, we'll just go with this one. This is a piece of oak. Looks like, but it looks like it's been in a burn pile before, but it's still solid. It's hard. So I'm gonna back up a little bit right here, okay? And we're just gonna take it and see how this thing shaves. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put my grip on here, like I did in the last video. Wrap it around my hand so I can get some power cuts. On the other knife, the Cold Steel full flat ground 3V, I will not have this advantage. So keep that in mind. But I'm just not really counting the cuts, but the seconds should show how long it takes me. I just stripped the bark down and everything that quick with your SE6. Now, let's try the 3V. Okay, much smaller knife, no lanyard, 3V. Let's see. Sorry about the grunt. Okay, so we'll use the other side and see how long it takes. Now there is a big knot right here, and there's obviously there would be 2 knots here, but it's a little thick for me. I guess I could baton it real quick, but it's kind of a last minute video, y'all, so I'm real sorry about that. We're just going to see how long it takes to do what I did here on just a section of it. Okay, here we go. Holy crap, man. I think the baked on finish on the ESEE makes it drag a little more. That's no joke, because this right here, this is the DLC coating on Cold Steel, as you can see, and there's no drag whatsoever. It's like it's like cutting with a knife with no coating on it. The coating actually does inhibit it a little bit. And my other knife, what's ironic about it, is the 1095 with the black coating on the ESEE. I actually had my lanyard and was able to, and I'm sitting here, you know, hitting it hard, a lot harder than I was with the Cold Steel Master Hunter. So just to give you an idea, I don't know if that has anything to do with blade steel. I doubt it. I think it's more to do with the coating and the blade geometry. Although they're both full flat grinds, and they're both relatively the same thickness. If I was to turn them around and try to get them to zoom in there, or at least focus a little bit. I can't hardly do it because I'm looking back at myself on camera. But see, this one tapers down to a needle edge. It's not going to pick up right, but it's harder than it looks when you're out here by yourself trying to do stuff. But anyway, so we'll go ahead and make a with this side. We'll go ahead and make a spear. I'm just going to choke up on the knife. We'll make a spear on this one. I'm just comparing the same piece of wood to the 3V in full flat grind to see how it would do. Cold Steel's 3V, and they both have the same exact edge on them. I mean, take my word or leave it, but both of them have the exact same edge on them, and at 20 degrees. So it's not like one knife is convexed. They're both just 20 degrees, full flat grind with a triangle grind at the bottom, or whatever you want to call it. It's not convex, it's not Scandi, it's just your normal grind that comes on a lot of folders. But anyway, so I basically got this. I'm using the edge of the knife. Yep, there's your needle. All right, needle point. All right, that's how long it took, and I'm talking. I understand that. That's how long it took with the SE6. Now, let's see how long it takes. Now, this side, since we don't have this, I guess I'm just going to try. I'm going to try, so it may take a little longer. I'm going to try to make a spear out of this, and as I whittle down around here, I want this to fall off. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to try this. I'm just going to try it. I mean, it bites. Clearly bites better into the wood. I mean, wood chips are flying, and you can see that I'm not using nearly as much stroke behind the blade. That's somebody's horns going off out there. I'm not too far out, obviously. But, see, it's a lot harder without the lanyard and a shorter blade to do this. And plus, I'm trying to, if you notice what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to make that spear. I want that end cut completely off. I couldn't kick through it, and I don't feel like batoning through it and finding a log and doing all that. I just want to see, we're testing edges. We're testing, sort of testing 3V versus 1095. And if I have time, I'll do a paper cut test if I can incorporate that. Oh, okay, let's get the edge of it. We'll get the tip toward the tip where I'd like to get it, to get the really, get it really sharp. Sharp, like Spyderco out of the box. All right, there's your needle, okay? The whole piece fell off. Here, I just made a spear in that amount of time with this knife, when it took the other amount of time to do this piece. And you notice this spear is longer because I was using a longer blade. I think it's just coincidental. This spear point is shorter, and I'm using a shorter blade, but I also was trying to cut through it at the same time as making a spear. So I think that'll pretty much do it for out here for right now, just with that little bit of cutting and the cutting I did yesterday, which is equivalent to what I've used this to do light cutting chores with outside. We will see if I can find and do a comparison test on edge comparison. So just give me a second. All right, y'all, I'm back. Did get some paper. So anyway, we weren't that far out anyway, but I'm chasing daylight here. I think it's approaching, it's about 6:30, right before the time changes. I mean, hunting season starts next week. Woohoo! Anyway, okay, so maybe you get a little better close up there. You can see that the knife has been used a lot. their coating holds up. It looks like it's kind of smearing away there, but when you hold it this way, you don't even see it. So I like it. So anyway, this is the Cold Steel Master Hunter CPM 3V. Full flat ground, like the ESEE 6. Holy God. It was cutting like this. It was cutting like this before I ever, well, now it's gonna mess my angles up. You know how paper cutting goes, you know, it depends on how you hold it sometimes. There, okay, so the snag is right up in here. Right up in here. I went slow with it. Feel to take it again. You saw it kind of hang up there. But I mean, dang, that's pretty awesome. I mean, that's pretty awesome, being that the amount of work I did in my previous video with the ESEE 6 plus today's little bit was all probably a little more work done with the 3V. That's the edge retention for the 3V. Now, this knife was only used yesterday and today, and what you saw on my previous video and on this video. Okay, so let's see what the ESEE 6 1095 steel holds up. I'm wiping it really hard on my blue jeans along the edge to get any bark or a sap or anything like that off of it, so we can get a fair check here. Okay, it cut from here, and as soon as it got here, it ripped. As soon as it got right in that sweet spot, right there, it ripped. Let's see if I can go slow. Wow. But you can see it's tearing. Let's do a few cuts and make it fair. So I'm partial to 3V. I'm gonna be honest, because I'm trying to display what I tried to explain in the video yesterday, is that I'm partial to 3V now compared to ESEE, even ESEE's heat treat and tops. I like any 3V blade that's factory or that comes from production factory, because I know they know their heat treat good enough to be able to produce a crap load of knives like Cold Steel, like ESEE tops and stuff like that. It's not custom. If it was a custom 3V, I'd make sure it's heat treated at Peters or somewhere like that, like Survivor or heat treated at. And a lot of custom knife makers use Peters heat treat too. So anyway, this is a Rowan Manufacturing heat treat. So that may play a little bit into it. I don't know what the Rockwell hardness is on this compared to that, but I heard that Cold Steel average Rockwell hardness on their 3V is 60 to 61. That's just what I've read, okay? I didn't read it on Cold Steel's website, so don't quote me on that. This, I know all the ESEE say that they are between 55 and 57. That's why they give you that warranty saying if you break your knife, they replace it. It's softer. The edge isn't gonna last as long. It's a softer heat treat. It's not as high on the Rockwell scale. So let's try. Nope. First one, yeah. Well,